It's match week 4 in the Premier League, and someone left a comment asking me to do Premier League and Champions League prediction videos, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're also going to incorporate the Points Are Bad series, which is the competition I'm playing with my girlfriend. Basically, Points Are Bad is the name of the game. If you predict a score of 1-0 and it ends 2-0, you get 1 point because you get a point for every single incorrect goal you predicted. Right now, I'm on 54 points and Mrs. Nobbins is on 66 points, so it's all to play for. There are some pretty tasty fixtures this match week, including Ronaldo's second debut, a tale of two cities over in Leicester. Could Leeds cause an upset against Liverpool? Before we get into the predictions, please consider leaving a like on the video, subscribing if you are new because that really helps me out. But let's go. The first game is Palace against Spurs. Spurs, 3 wins from 3. They're on a maximum of 9 points, including a very impressive win against Manchester City. Nuno doing a brilliant job so far, although I do feel like as the season progresses, there will be a case of flattering to deceive with Spurs. I do think, especially against Wolves, they got particularly lucky, so we'll have to see if they can come unstuck. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, will be hoping for that to happen because they've lost, they've drawn, and they've drawn. Still yet to win in the Premier League under Patrick Vieira. Vieira still waiting for his first Premier League win as a manager. And I don't think that's coming in this game because I think it's going to be 1-0 to Spurs, although Mrs. Nobbins has gone for 1-0 to Palace. I just think this fixture's come too early for Vieira and Palace, even at home. I do think they'll struggle. I think it'll take a few more match weeks for Vieira to get his true philosophy across to the players. And whilst I don't think it's going to be easy for Spurs, I just think they're going to win this one. It's the W derby next. It's Watford against Wolves. Wolves probably the unluckiest team in the Premier League so far. They played fantastically against Spurs. They played fantastically against United, and they've got nothing to show for it. Really, really not fair from them from a playing perspective, but they need to convert those goals. That's the issue. It's nice to have a lot of XG, but we need that G. Watford, on the other hand, they've lost, they've drawn. They've drawn. I've predicted Watford to come bottom of the league and their manager to get sacked first. And I do think that Wolves are finally going to get that win. I've gone 2-0 to Wolves. Mrs. Nobbins has gone 1-0 to Wolves. Moving on from a W derby to a B derby. And it's the Bees, Brentford, do you see what I did there? Against Brighton, the Gulls. Will the Birds consume the Bees at the Brentford Community Stadium? I think so. Brentford have had a very impressive start to the season, getting that incredible win over Arsenal. Brighton, I really like Brighton. I really like Graham Potter as a manager. I think they are very underrated as a team, and I think Potter is very underrated as a manager. And I've gone for 2-1 to Brighton. Mrs. Dobbins has gone 3-0 to Brighton. Brentford are yet to lose a Premier League game in their history, but I think this is going to be the end of that undefeated journey. And from undefeated to winless, it's Arsenal versus Norwich. Both these teams have failed to register a point in the Premier League so far, so this is a massive 6-pointer, real relegation fight going on here. Can Arsenal avoid the drop? We'll have to see what Arteta can pull out of his arse. Arsenal, do you get it? It's a pun. They're actually both on the same goal difference of -9, but Norwich have scored a goal, which is the reason why Arsenal are at the bottom of the table so far, the arse end of the table. And despite that, despite the jokes about Arsenal being relegated, they're not going to get relegated. I think Arsenal are going to win this one. They will finally taste success. They're at home. It's at the Emirates. Norwich are atrocious, and they are going to get relegated. You heard it here first. Well, you would have heard it first on my predictions video. But you know what I mean. I think most people have got Norwich as relegation fodder. And if Arsenal don't beat Norwich relatively comfortably, then I think genuine serious questions can be asked, or already been asked. Like, loads of people are already saying Arteta out. Mrs. Nobbins and I both agree we've gone for 2-0 to the Arsenal. Here we go. It's the game that has restored the discussion on the 3 PM blackout rule. It's Cristiano Ronaldo's second debut, or hopefully will be his second debut for Manchester United against Newcastle. The game is at Old Trafford. It's at 3 PM. We won't be able to see the second debut, but I do think Ronaldo is going to have a very good game. I think he's going to have an immediate impact. He'll hit the ground running for United, and I actually think he's going to get a brace in this game. He's going to be very impressive straight away. That's how good Ronaldo is. And I've gone for a 3-0 to Manchester United. I don't think they're going to have any issues at all, and as I say, I think Ronaldo is going to steal the show. Obviously, he's going to steal it anyway. He's Ronaldo. It's his second debut, but he's also going to score 2 goals. Mrs. Nobbins, on the other hand, is more conservative. She's gone for a 1-0 to Manchester United. I can't see Newcastle doing anything. Despite United not being the most impressive in the early stages of the season, Newcastle are Newcastle. Failed to get a win so far. Lost, draw. Steve Bruce, I don't think as a manager knows what he's doing. I don't think he's a good manager. I think it's more than just he's given poor teams to manage. I just think he's a poor manager. Southampton West Ham is the next fixture, and both of these teams have impressed me with how they've started the season. West Ham have got the results to show for it. Southampton less so. I thought they were very good against Manchester United. Unfortunate and unlucky to not get a point for them. Had Armstrong buried that chance late in the second half against United, then that would have been game over, but he didn't. West Ham, on the other hand, have not lost yet. It's a win, and a draw. And Antonio is doing absolute bits for them, especially because it's at St Mary's. I can see this being very tight. I've gone for a 1-1, whereas Mrs. Nobbins has gone for a 2-0 to West Ham. Leicester versus Man City is probably the tastiest fixture on the card for match week 4. The game is being played at Leicester after an international break. Very tricky for the defending champions who've already lost a game this season. They both got the same record with 2 wins and a loss, but the difference is Leicester got absolutely smashed by West Ham the other week. But this will be a chance for Man City to get some revenge after the Community Shield defeat before the start of the season. Iheanacho scoring a penalty in that fixture. It's going to be incredibly hard. Leicester away is one of the hardest games City will play this season. The other really tricky games obviously being, away against Spurs, United, Liverpool, etc. And because it's not going to be easy, I'm going to predict a 1-1. I think Leicester will get something from the game. Mrs. Nobbins more optimistic. She's gone for a 3-1 to Man City. As I record this, there's also question marks around the whole Brazilian players. Will they be able to play for their Premier League clubs? So that would potentially rule out Ederson if that's the case. And I think Stefan also has COVID, so if Ederson is banned from playing, I don't think he will be banned, but if he is banned, which is what's been suggested this week, then Scott Carson or Kyle Walker, more likely Scott Carson is going to have to go in goal. And whilst he is, the GOAT, obviously, he is third choice. Chelsea versus Villa is another tasty fixture. Villa have had what I would consider a very disappointing start to the season. I thought they were going to do much better with the new signings. Even after losing Grealish, the money they've invested, I thought they would have got more points than they have right now. I've got them to finish 6th place. Chelsea, on the other hand, haven't tasted defeat yet this season. They got a very impressive draw at Anfield last match week. We're going down to 10 men in the circumstances, conceding the penalty. The fact they're able to hold out at Anfield, very impressive from them. And I can just see them being far too much for Aston Villa. And I've gone for a 1-0 to Chelsea, and Mrs. Nobbins has gone for a 3-1 to Chelsea. Leeds versus Liverpool could be very interesting tactically. Bielsa up against Klopp. We'll have to see what happens. Obviously, there's always the risk with Leeds that they can just get absolutely pounded, as we saw against Manchester United when they were just so open defensively and so suspect defensively, just allowing United to just play through them and just easily score goals pretty much. And you can't do that against a side with the likes of Mo Salah and Mane in it. So Leeds have to be careful. Will they be careful? Probably not, because that's not how they play. So there is a huge risk that this could be a battering. That being said, I do think Liverpool will win. Don't think they'll win by a huge margin. I think they'll win 2-1, as will Mrs. Nobbins. I think Liverpool's quality will shine through. Wouldn't surprise me if Salah got a goal or 2, and Liverpool will be able to continue their very good form they've had at the start of the season. Touching on the Ederson situation, there is a possibility that Liverpool would be without Alisson, Fabinho and Firmino. If that happens, that's a big issue in terms of their squad depth, but I don't think it will happen. We'll have to see. The final match is Everton versus Burnley. Burnley have yet to win, whilst Everton have been very impressive under Rafa Benitez, as I suspected they would. Benitez is a fantastic manager, and for me, he is Everton's best signing. A player wasn't Everton's best signing this summer. It was definitely Rafa Benitez. Don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I suspect Burnley will play in a low block, and they'll try to limit Everton's chances, as they do in most fixtures. So I think Everton will win, but it's not going to be by a huge margin. I think they'll win 2-0, and Mrs. Nobbins has gone for a 1-0 to Everton. Okay, so those are my predictions. What I'm going to be doing in future predictions videos is we'll start the predictions video by just very quickly recapping what the previous match week's results were, and then we'll add up all the points for the points are bad at the start of the predictions, and then we'll move on to the predictions for that match week. Let me know if that format sounds good to you. Also, let me know who you are rooting for. Are you team LNobbins or are you team Mrs. Nobbins? You better be team LNobbins or I'm going to pop off. Make sure to leave a like on the video. Make sure to subscribe if you are new, in addition to the more highbrow in-depth videos. I also like to do these more basic videos where we just do predictions and match reactions, that sort of thing, because they're fun to watch and they're fun to talk about as well. Just an FYI, I am going abroad next week. However, I'm planning to schedule videos to come out whilst I'm away. I'm away for 10 nights. I had to think about that one. I'm away for 10 nights, so basically 2 weeks. So I won't be able to record any videos. There obviously won't be any streams, like any Twitch or TikTok streams during that time period, but I will make sure that videos go out regularly on the YouTube channel, including, but not limited to, obviously today's match predictions video, but also Champions League group preview and predictions for each group. And I think we'll do a cheeky third kit tier list in there as well. Eat yeet, skeet delete, have a lovely day.